There's something going on with my phone. We'll see if we can get this. It's kind of crooked, though. We'll maybe just straighten it up. See how it's a little crooked.
Oh, but at least we're
Are we live?
showing the right way now.
Are we?
It looks like. Wait, let me check. Let me go back to our page and.
Well, that was a good start.
Make sure.
I have no problems admitting that I am not technically savvy at all,
That's
whatsoever.
Okay.
But at least we're live, and now, yes, now we can see the feed. Hi, Facebook friends. Sorry about that. I'm going to delete the other video.
You guys are.
I'm going to delete the.
I was kind of going like
this one right here is the other. Is not the right one, right? This is the delete. This one we can delete. Is that right?
The first one.
No, I have no idea what's happening here.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it is just about time to go if you're ready.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Have a good show.
Okay. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Okay. We'll do this again.
Welcome to Lead Up for Women. Speak Up to Lead Up with Colleen
All right, you guys, we're
Biggs
going
and
live.
Dee Daniels. Are you ready to lead without permission and take the steps needed to live your best life? Whether you want to start the business
Hi,
of your
Vanessa.
dreams or celebrate your present and
Hi,
future
Vanessa.
Hi,
accomplishments,
Clary.
you're definitely in the right place. Now, here are your hosts, Colleen and Dee.
Well, hello, listeners. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, wherever you're listening in from. You have joined the show, Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. And I am Colleen Biggs, your host, and I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Dee Daniels.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dee Daniels. How are you?
Oh, my gosh, Dee, it has been quite a whirlwind the last couple of weeks, wouldn't you say?
I know. I haven't even seen you, or we haven't even talked that much because you've been busy traveling.
Yeah.
And we've got so much going on. So what have you been up to?
So we had our luncheon in Arizona,
Right.
and we had some awesome interviews after
It was amazing.
the luncheon. If you haven't had a chance to listen to the radio show that we did last week, it's on demand, and you can go listen to that on Voice America, the Empowerment Channel.
Exactly.
That's where you find us
Right.
under Lead Up for Women or Speak Up to Lead Up. So go listen to that one. True testaments of the power of the luncheons and what they gained from the luncheon. It was
Right,
Elizabeth and Martha.
Oh, yeah.
We had Ashley as a special
Ashley,
guest,
right.
and who was our
Barbara was there.
Yes, Catherine was
Catherine.
also there. Yeah, it was
Catherine,
wonderful.
yes.
So.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
happy that we had that opportunity. And then right after the luncheon, I hopped on a plane 2 days later and flew to San Diego to be at the Entree Leadership Summit that Dave Ramsey's group does every year. That was an amazing 4 days. I will give a shout out to Dave Ramsey and his group for that. And I recommend that if you're a leader in any capacity and you're looking to move your company forward based on genuine connections with people and not focusing on the numbers, that is where you want to be. They taught everything from tapping into your employees, what their needs are. They talked about how to onboard employees properly to save you money. I mean, they go into details, and there were two amazing females there.
Yes.
So we had some great conversations with so many of the speakers, and I know you can go out and see that on entreleadership.com, but you can also go to our Facebook page, Lead Up for Women, and you can click on the videos. I did some videos while I was there of the...
I saw those.
Yeah,
Right. I
so
saw
it was
you
really
with,
great.
with Dave. I think you were with him and a couple of others, but it looked like you were having a good time. Now, how long were you there? Was it like a couple of days?
I was there for 4 days.
It was 4 days?
4 straight
Oh my
days.
gosh.
Yeah, 4 straight days. And what I pulled from that conference was confirmation in every facet when I listened to the speakers about what we're doing as an organization is needed, is exactly the right time, and we're right along paired and partnered with how they are teaching leadership in business, and that true, genuine connection, and teaching women how to be themselves and tap into who they are. It's strong, and the community there is strong, and them understanding that you can't lead alone, that you need a community of people. And there is no, Simon Sinek talked about an infinite game. And for any of you that know Simon Sinek, he's written books about your why, and why you get out of bed every morning, why you live, every day, and how you live your best. And for me, he talked about the infinite game and journey versus a finite. So instead of rules and regulations around a specific game where there's a start time and end time in business, and in our journey in life, it's infinite.
Absolutely.
So there's no winning in business. So your journey is going to be long. And understanding how to care for yourself, how to live the best life you can live, and lean in to who you are. He talked a lot about that. And I just sat there just smiling and shaking my head going, yes.
It was reminding you of, I can do this every
We're
day.
Doing this
every
for
day
women,
we live this.
And why it's so important. And their passion and their compassion, it's really great how much
there were some amazing women that were there, too. Who were some of the women that they had there?
I know Sarah Blakely.
I know Sarah was there.
She was on the fourth day. Her and her husband, Jesse Itzler, spoke. She, has a $5 billion company.
Absolutely.
And she's the founder of Spanx.
Right.
And she spoke.
She's amazing.
She spoke on her journey and her hustle. It doesn't just come overnight.
It doesn't.
It's a journey and it's a hustle to build a company. And I know that I'm going to get this other one wrong, and I don't have her book in front of me. She is the F-14 Tomcat fighter, and I can probably look that up on really quick.
That's pretty cool. I mean, they've had, and that kind of reminds me of us and what we do here, because we feature so many different types of women. Everybody from that woman sitting at the in the C-suite to someone that's running HVAC company. So we really kind of like to diversify the type of women that we present
Corey
here.
Lorenz.
Corey
Lorenz, or Carrie Lorenz. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, Carrie, I'm so sorry. Carrie Lorenz.
Wow.
So yeah, she's amazing. So it was really
really
good. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Now you and I are crazy preparing for Atlanta, which is May 22nd.
We're getting ready for Atlanta.
Yeah, we're coming for you, Atlanta.
We're coming, Atlanta. So you guys have to make sure you go to you can go to our Lead Up page or to leadupforwomen.com and make sure you purchase tickets so you can come and hang out with us
in fast.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
I know. Well, because this is like our third event, so we're really starting to have more momentum earlier in terms of tickets. So, ladies, make sure you come out and hang out with Colleen and I.
Yeah. So today on the show, we have one of the panel members that is going to be present at the Atlanta. Yes. Her name is Afsaneh Abree, and she's going to come on with us in the second segment. But without further ado, I would love to introduce the beautiful Jeanie Davis that we have in the studio.
Yes. Hi, Jeanie.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me.
It's so great to have you here. So Jeanie lives here in Arizona, and she's been here for 25 years, and I wanted her to tell a little bit about her story. So Jeanie, if you want to go ahead and grace the listeners with a little bit about who you are.
All right. First of all, I want to say that I think it's amazing what you ladies are doing, bringing strong women together to share their stories and uplift and inspire other women. I think that's awesome. And after listening to and reading several of your previous guests, I have to say I felt a bit intimidated and maybe like I didn't fit the mold.
Oh, no.
But
that is why Lead Up for Women exists, because we don't want you to feel intimidated. We want you to feel safe.
Well,
and
you said something to me
comfortable.
that made me rethink that. You said that when you invited me today, you said that Lead Up for Women was created for the betterment of society, for our communities and for our families.
And we're a community of women, absolutely.
I'm all about that, so I'm happy to be here. And in that vein, I'd like to say I'm reaching out to those women who are not necessarily seeking for success by climbing the corporate ladder. Rather, they might find it by discovering their passion and are able to live it and be successful while doing so.
Amazing.
So, anyway,
You're perfect. Exactly that way. That's exactly what we want.
You're perfect.
Great.
How to climb that corporate ladder, it's about tapping in and discovering your passion and who you are, because then you're able to lean in and live to your fullest ability.
Right.
And you would be surprised how many women don't do that.
And that's true. And success is different for everybody. You know, one person
is happiness.
Absolutely.
And if they're not finding happiness in what they're doing, if they're not finding purpose, then something's wrong. Something needs to change. So that's what I'm here to talk about today, is how I found my purpose and my happiness, and despite the odds, because I don't think writing books necessarily makes me a success. I think writing books and defying the odds of the prognosis I was given, as I have multiple sclerosis, and I've had it for some time, but 16 years ago I was given a prognosis by a world-renowned neurologist he flat out told me that you're going to become a vegetable. You will be brain dead very soon.
What?
And there is no if, it's a matter of when, and there is nothing we can do to stop that. And so my success was proving him wrong, and not only that, finding my passion and to some measure succeeding at it.
How long ago did you say that?
That was 16 years.
16 years.
I've had I've had MS
ago.
for 34 years, but it's only become progressive in the last 23.
And 16 years ago, they said
16
this
years
is gonna
I've
be
been
your last.
dying.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm brain dead.
Yes.
I can use that as an excuse for anything now. So if I say anything that's not right, it's because I only have half a brain.
You are a true existing pillar of strength.
Wow.
Is
Thank you.
what you represent. And a beautiful one at that.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
I know our
Thank you so
Facebook
much.
friends can see how beautiful you are today.
I did not know they were watching.
She looks so beautiful today,
You
listeners.
do.
We have to
See,
support
you're
her.
naturally prepared.
So tell us a little bit more about your journey. Why writing books? Where did your life start or begin where you wanted to become a writer?
Well, that's kind of a fun thing that happened to me without any warning. It kind of, through the years, I've always written poetry, and then it kind of morphed into music. And I was raising my 4 daughters with my husband, and MS really took all the energy out of me. And to raise a family was difficult, to say the least. But somehow I was given strength and opportunity, I guess, to write some music, and that gave me a purpose. I mean, I felt like I was so blessed. I thought, okay, this is what, besides raising a family, of course, that is my first passion, but I was passionate about it, and I was asked to do it for weddings, some conventions and conferences, and mostly for small things, but it was really rewarding. But I have to tell you a little story that ended all that. My son-in-law has Crohn's disease, and they were they came willingly to live with us for a while. And Crohn's disease, he's got it very severely, and it's horrible. Anyway, he had a lot of downtime, and if you're playing the piano, you're not very quiet, and it was very disruptive to my poor son-in-law. So I kind of felt like I can't do that part of my life anymore. That part of my life is over. I mean, I felt like I couldn't really compose music anymore. So I retreated to my office, where I began just writing. And I had another daughter tell me, "Mom, you need to write a book. You like to read. I'm sure you can write, right?" That's all it takes. Is if you picked up a book or two in your life, then surely you can write a book. And I was like, well, yeah, sure, I can write. Not. We all had a good laugh, but the idea worked in me, and I did sit down and I wrote my first book, or I published my first book, As Ever Yours, and it's really just the story of my grandparents.
And the name of that book is?
As Ever Yours.
Okay.
And I have to say that I wrote it with no training whatsoever, and as in anything that you do, any endeavor, you need training if you really want it to go well. But I somehow found people that guided me to a publisher, to an editor, to everything I needed to complete that project. And I mostly wrote it for my family because, it's all about family. But I was really surprised to see how many people enjoyed it that were not related to me and picked it up and called me and said, we love this book. And I'm like, really? Oh, well, that makes me just want to keep going with this.
Yeah.
And so then I began, and I won't really talk about this children's book, but somebody said, that's a great poem you wrote. Make that into a children's book. And as impressionable as I guess I am, I just did what they said, and it turned out great, too.
And what was the name of the children's book?
I don't know why I did it, and it's a Christmas children's picture book.
Yeah.
It's got words.
It's so adorable. We'll show our Facebook. We'll show our Facebook friends when we go to break, so they can see the books that you've brought with you.
Well, this one is my latest book, and the whole time, so I began the learning process. I put myself into writers groups and took classes and conferences, workshops, anything I could get into to learn everything I didn't know about writing, because there was mountains of knowledge out there, a whole writing community that I didn't know about that existed, and I tapped into and was able to get critique partners that were just so helpful. And that whole time I was writing this book.
And what's the name of that book?
It's Time Twist.
So our listeners can hear, okay?
It's Time Twist. Yeah, that's right. This is radio.
We have a whole nother audience on the other side of it.
This is crazy. Anyway, I by the time I finished revising and editing and revising for the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time, I was able to shop it around and get it picked up. A contract with a New York publishing company, and that was published in October of 18, just last October. And now I have Time Trap, the sequel, coming out this year, and along with another Christmas novella that I've written with my critique partners. There's 4 parts to that.
Okay, you said a couple. I'm blown away, and I'm not even sure what to say right now because I'm so blown away by a few of the things that you said that really struck me, which was that you were grateful you had the opportunity and you jumped in with no training. And I want to just circle back on that real quick. I know we have just a couple of minutes before break, but I wanted to ask you, when you said you felt you had the opportunity, did you just listen to your intuition, the spirit? Did you just throw that out to really just kind of listen to what it is that you felt like you were placed on this earth to do?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I have not done. I mean, I think perseverance and commitment and drive have all been a part of this. But I've never been alone in this project, and I feel like God has given me that purpose. I mean, I've been led and directed in every aspect of my life and on this journey, and to have found the people that I found. I mean, I am a late bloomer. I mean, this has only been, my writing career has been 5 years in the making. Yeah. This has not been a lifelong endeavor. So absolutely, I have been led and guided, and I have been so fortunate to meet so many good people that have helped me along the way.
So, well, let me ask you this. So your initial career, was it music or what was your initial career prior to
my
you starting
initial career? Okay, well, I went to college for PR and then interior decorating.
Okay.
And I didn't do any of that. I was then I got sick. Yeah, I mean, I got
Gotcha.
sick
Right.
years and
Wow.
years ago, and spent most of my time and energy raising my family.
Wow.
And so I feel like those music and writing, poetry, that stuff was just kind of a little bonus, something that gave me something all to myself, which I feel like every woman needs.
Yeah.
Every person needs.
Absolutely.
Wow,
Well, hey, listeners, if you are enjoying our conversation with Jeanie Davis, she is not going anywhere because we are going to be right back and we are going to learn more about how Jeanie Davis, the author, went from composing music to being an author and how she finds success in happiness. We'll be right back.
All right, nicely done. We're all clear.
All right.
Yay.
All right, so we're on break. So we'll take a 2-minute break, and then Facebook listeners, hi, we're just going through
Hi,
some technical
Facebook
things
Live.
right now.
How are you?
Glenn said, keep striving to prove others wrong. And he said, appreciate how you are not letting circumstances define you. #respect. So thank you so much, Glenn.
Thanks a
Hi,
million.
Glenn.
Renee said, good morning.
Good
Glenn
morning,
said, amazing
Renee.
group. Vanessa Siren said, you look gorgeous.
Oh,
Hello.
hi, Vanessa.
I see you guys. And so we've got some wonderful people that are joining us. When we come back, we're going to talk just a little bit more. And then I would like to let the listeners know how they can buy your books. You can list your books again. If you want to show your books real quick to our listeners so they can, or our everyone that's out there on Facebook right now, our listeners can't hear us because it's on. This is As Ever Yours. Yeah, Jeanie R. Davis.
Yeah, the one that I wrote with no training. I'm just giving you that disclaimer because, you're going to read it and say, oh, this is a good story.
I
but
tell you what, you
really
wrote
well
a
written.
pretty good-sized book there
Pretty
with
big.
no
That's,
training. So you should not make yourself small. You should
No.
be very proud of that, Jeanie.
This
Absolutely.
one is a Christmas children's book. And
I don't know why I did
love
it.
this one
Yeah.
because
I don't know why
I
I
just
did it.
wrote
That's
this
so
poem
cute.
for something and somebody, this lady that helped me through mentorship and stuff, Anna Arnett. I'll just get a shout
Anna
out
Arnett,
to
yeah,
her.
let's get it out there, yeah.
She's amazing, and she's in her 90s, but she would come and sit with me and read with me and say, okay, how does it look on her face when she's saying that? And I'm like, oh, I need to describe her face. And that was just a tiny part of the many rules of writing that
Absolutely.
This book came out in October.
Time Twist.
Time Twist. And I'm real excited about this one because this one
I wanted
had
all
to
of our
shop around
Facebook friends up there to be able to see all your books.
for a
Right.
publisher.
Yeah.
And this one I got the first contract on and was professionally published. And I have 2 more coming this year.
Awesome.
A sequel to this one, Time Trap. And
And then we'll show them again, too, because when we come
Yes.
back, we'll talk about
we
them a
will.
little bit more.
All right, sorry to interrupt, but we are just about to come back.
Okay, thank you. So the listeners couldn't hear anything through that whole time that we were on break, but our Facebook friends can see
Right,
us.
Facebook Live, they get all the good stuff.
Speak
They can see me putting my lip gloss
To reach the
on.
show today, please call 1-888-346-9141.
I have my fashionable adult sippy
That's
cup today.
1-888-346-9141.
Oh, how cute.
From
Yeah,
the
you
little gym.
do. You do have a different one.
Big supporter
right.
of the
You may
little
also
gym
send
out
an
there.
email
The
to
little
info
gym.
at
We'll talk about that one later. We'll give them a
leadupforwomen.com.
shout out.
Now, back to this week's show.
Welcome back, listeners.
We're
you
back.
are listening to Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I am your host, Colleen Biggs.
And I am your co-host, Dee Daniels.
Yeah, and we're joined by
Jeanie Davis.
Jeanie Davis is in the studio, and we were
Yes.
talking with her on the first segment.
Yeah.
So intrigued by how she tapped into exactly who she was after
Right.
years of raising her children, being a music composer, a story of her brother-in-law. Was
My
that
son-in-law.
Your son-in-law,
It's my son-in-law.
yeah. Moving in and having Crohn's and you not being able to play the piano. Then you decided to trust in faith, to jump into being an author, something you'd never done before, and write. And you wrote your first book, and that first book is...
As Ever Yours.
Is Ever Yours.
Yeah.
And then you moved on to that with no training, right? No training.
Well, by then, in the process of writing this book, that's when I learned that I kind of needed training. And I really, really
all learn
found
along
some
the way.
really
Yeah.
awesome places and avenues to that training.
Yeah.
And Yes, so I began to get training while I was writing that book.
What is that book about? What is the book
This
about?
is about my grandparents, and they have an incredible story. They were born in the 1800s, and back before, we had all the antibiotics and everything that could save lives, and so that's just part of what their challenges were. But they're just amazing, and the story is pretty amazing. And I fictionalized it, so it's not just a biography.
Yeah.
That's boring.
That's beautiful.
Right.
And then you wrote a children's book.
Then I wrote a children's book.
Writing a children's book.
Yeah. I don't know why I did it. And that's just a fun book for children at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I think I already showed the
Yeah.
Facebook viewers.
We did.
And those things were just things that kind of fell into my lap, opportunities. I really feel like, if I hadn't had the right people around me at the right time, those things would not have happened. But
Isn't that amazing how when you really lend yourself to just leaning into exactly everything you are, this is happening to me right now with Lead Up for Women. Excuse me, listeners, that was awful. As you lean into and really trust that you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
People start crossing your paths that you've never met before.
That's true.
Don't even know how you went down that avenue to meet them. Doors start
And there
opening.
they are.
We're sitting in Voice America studio today because the door opened
Absolutely.
that I had never seen before.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
There have been opportunities that I thought, no, I shouldn't, I can't, but then I do it, and I've just decided that there's not very many things I should say no to where it gives me personal growth.
What is the book about? I don't know why I did it, and because when we talk about your books, I want to let listeners know a little bit.
It's kind of a cute little book story that I made up about the inn, the innkeeper and his daughter when Christ was born, and she's overdoing all the chores because it's so busy in Bethlehem, and her little brother is off playing, and so she does his chores, which one of them is to fill the trough with hay, and she just feels this really special feeling when she's doing that, and she doesn't know why she's doing it for him because he should be doing it, and she's kind of ticked off at the kid.
Wow.
But in the end, she feels a real reverence that comes over her, and it's obvious who that straw or hay or whatever.
It's like
is.
Wicked, how it's the untold story of the Wizard of Oz. This is like the untold story of the birth of Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Which is very, very
it's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we have time to talk about where, as an author, where are you selling your books? Our listeners, how do they get in contact with you? And how do they purchase your books?
I have a website, but please don't go to it because I built it myself.
Thank you for being honest.
Yeah, years ago when I first wrote my first book and realized then that those are really meant for professionals to build.
Yeah.
And I can't get rid of it though. I let it lapse, and I open it, and I'm like, still there. I just want to get my domain name back, and I'm going to do
Can
that.
somebody email you?
Someone can email me.
Yeah.
I'm on. I'm
What
on
is your
Facebook.
email? What is your email
My
address?
email is Jeanie R. Davis
JeanieR Davis
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm on
Okay.
Instagram. I'm on
Great.
Twitter.
Jeanie R. Davis.
Jeanie Davis on Facebook.
Jeanie Davis on Facebook.
And
Great. And on Amazon, is that where you sell?
I've got an Amazon Central
Okay.
author page,
Okay.
and you can find me.
can
Go
find
there.
Under
Go there. You can find all my
Davis or
books
Jeanie
there.
R. Davis?
Jeanie R. Davis.
Jeanie R. Davis.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. And Jeanie's going to stay in
Absolutely.
the studio
Yes.
as we bring in our next guest. And Jeanie, please feel free to join in on the conversation that we have with Afsaneh, who's
Right.
going to be
Thanks so much.
joining us in this segment. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Afsaneh. She is a coach and has had a lifelong of growth. And she says you don't get to know her through her resume, but you get to know her through her stories. And she's going to be a panelist at our Atlanta May 22nd luncheon.
Yes.
So without further ado, I would like to introduce Afsaneh. Do we have Afsaneh on the line?
Yep.
Yeah, I am here.
Yes. Hey, Afsaneh.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, Colleen. Hi, Dee.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I know about you guys. I'm quite inspired and fired up just listening to the first portion of the show.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We want you that way.
I am too. And Jeanie is such an inspiration of taking all the odds that she had against her and beating those and standing for what she believes in and leaning into everything that she is purposely made for and just throwing it out. And I love that.
Doing it.
Love
Just
you,
jumping
Jeanie.
in and doing
Thank
it.
you.
I can't thank you enough for being here. You are such an inspiration to people.
You are.
Thank you.
much.
Afsaneh, you are another inspiration of someone that I met through mutual friends, so about connecting. And my friend Brenda, who lives in Atlanta, introduced Afsaneh to me. So tell the listeners and our Facebook friends that are listening on Facebook Live today a little bit about you and your story.
Sure. Before anything, I should say my name means fairy tale in Farsi. And I really think I have lived it. I was raised in Iran, but even though my family, nobody spoke English, for some reason they sent me to a Catholic school, and I learned how to read and write English before I learned Farsi. So imagine that growing up in a family where nobody speaks English, right? Mm-hmm. And then right when I was 10, revolution happened. And right 1 year after the revolution, the Iran-Iraq war struck. And actually the first bomb that ever hit Tehran was right next to our house. So we woke up with it, with that sound first. And that's life-changing. That's truly, truly life-changing. So, and then going through school and getting my high school degree and also my bachelor's degree during War and Revolution, and then going to there was like a center through Cambridge University that we could learn English and get certificates in English, and I got 2 certificates in English through Cambridge also, and all of this was whilst we were running away from bombs or leaving town for 3 months because of missile attacks or, very, very different conditions than what I'm living in right now, gratefully so. So, and then 2001, by sheer destiny, I guess, I came to United States, and I have been working, first I've worked as VP of Business Development, and learned all the dynamics, and then got certification to be an integral coach, and started my own practice from 2013.
So tell me about the integral coaching that you do. What was your interest in it? Why did that spark an interest for you?
Absolutely. You got to be careful when you start me up on that subject, Colleen, because I may take this show like for 3-4 hours.
Because you're passionate. That's okay. Because you are in.
That's how passionate I am about the subject. Exactly.
You are in the presence of very passionate women here, so we could do this show for 4 hours. I would be totally happy. I don't know if our listeners would hang out that long.
Oh, they would. They would. They love us.
Thank you. Well, I have always been an avid reader since I was, probably by the time I was in middle school, I had finished, like Honoré de Balzac, and I had finished all of Maxim Gorky books, and very, very avid reader. And I'm trilingual, so I could read in, different languages. And I always was wondering that, how is it that, what is the answer? What is the answer to become a fully well-rounded human being? And in all of my readings, I was always curious about why do we do the things we do, and why do we respond to life the way we respond to it? And let me give you a good example of this. Like I come from a family of 8. We were 8 children, and we were all raised in the same conditions, like with the same parents, and go through the same war and revolution and everything. But we all responded so differently. Like I remember on one of the missile attacks where we were actually wrote a story about this. on one of the missile attacks where we were away from home, away from Tehran, because we had sought shelter in the suburbs, and we were living in this almost like a barn, and because we had no choice, and which was not livable. Basically, there was no kitchen, there was no inside bathroom, and we were like 15 people crammed in one bedroom, one room, basically. And everybody was upset. Everybody would just all day long listen to the news, and they would get out to watch the track the missiles to guess where they are hitting. And I was just about 12 or 13, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. So, and remember, this is an Islamic Republic where all women are fully covered, right?
Right.
I said, I'm not doing that. So I would just put my bikini on
You
and
literally
put my cover
said
up
you're-
on.
Are you
yeah, this is true story.
This is not
I would
an-
go on the roof. I would go on the roof of this building, and I would get my suntan. So
We're talking about we're talking about being bold beyond and brave. Because what
Yes.
are the consequences
Yes.
for that?
and not just the consequences would be get killed.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, but my point is I was always curious. I never wanted to be part of the masses to conform because I feel like I can always set my own rules and I can always push them.
Wow.
And so this really got me interested in how can I help others to take different filters that they have in front of their eyes and their minds and take them one by one and see the world in a different light and respond differently in a holistic way. So I don't want to make somebody just a good employer. I don't want them to be just a good CEO. I don't want them to be just a good mother. I don't want them to be just a good dancer. But how can one person develop holistically in all these areas? And this led me to integral coaching, which is exactly the name, what it is. It's holistic coaching. Is coaching from all angles, allowing individuals to become self-observant and self-correcting in all dimensions of life. So that's putting it in a very, very quick nutshell.
That's wonderful. Go ahead,
It is. I think the question that I have to go back to, because as you told, your story, obviously it's not something you can just gloss over when you talk about a young woman sitting there, under missile attacks. You talk about a woman living in an Islamic country and putting on a bathing suit and going up top and deciding to go sunbathe. So we got to talk a little bit about that because I know it just says a lot about who you are as a person. And just in that, I mean, what were you actually thinking as you're sitting there and there are bombs, going off over your head? What were you thinking in terms of what you saw for your future? I mean, how did you get from that to here, and what does that feel like for you?
I think, thank you, Dee. I think one of the main motivations for me was always not get stuck in what is and always think what is possible. And that sometimes I tell people that's my curse because like when I bought my house, I looked at this dump and it was neglected for so long, and I look at it, I'm like, gosh, there's so much possibility here. I made it what I wanted after 10, 11 years, right? So lying down, I would be reading novels, and each novel I would read, I would go into the character of those novels, and I would just allow my body, my flesh and blood, feel the possibilities that exist. And that, I think, completely changed my hormones, completely changed the energy that I attracted to myself from the world.
So
and my coming to U.S. was complete miracle. I mean, it was, I wasn't even planning. I never applied for a visa. It was just one of those things that truly fell on my lap because, like, people would ask me, what do you want to do? Well, I was I studied chemistry. I have a bachelor's in chemistry, and then I have 2 certificates in English. So I started teaching English, and I was working in a lab. But people would say, why don't you apply to go to Canada or Australia? You speak English so well. And my answer was like, I know my life is on the other side, but I know I don't have to work hard for it because it will come to me. And it did.
Afsaneh, we are so thankful you are here today. Yes. For our listeners, we are going to go to break, but you have to come back from break with us and finish listening to this story because we're talking about Afsaneh Abree. Her name means fairy tale. She grew up in Iran. Avoiding bombs, was under attack almost her whole childhood, and yet wanted to set her own rules, putting on a bikini and going up to the building to suntan. Come on, listeners. Are you kidding me?
There we go.
This is amazing. So we will be right back after the break with Afsaneh Abree. Stay with us.
All right, great segment. All clear. Back in a couple.
Okay, thanks. Wow.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, girl, you are amazing. How come we didn't cover this story the first time we talked on the phone? You were saving it for the radio?
I couldn't spill all my beads on the floor, huh?
No, you couldn't. I just love that you are, from what I'm understanding, I don't even want to talk about it right now because I want to talk about it when we're on the radio. But I'm just amazed by just how quickly you can capture an audience with your story, because these are stories that people don't live every day.
Absolutely.
Facebook friends, we want to say hi to all of you.
Hi.
We have Afsaneh Abree on the phone here. Even though you can't see her, you can definitely go to our click around on Facebook and you'll see her face and her bio in the Evite or invite for the Atlanta, Georgia, because she lives in Georgia. So we have a couple minutes before we come back. We just had Paige join us. She said, I love her. You go, girl.
Hi, Paige.
Yeah. And Laura said, great job, Jeanie. Thanks for sharing. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Laura, I love you too. So great that you joined us today. Thank you so much. Ryan Treasure's on. Ryan is
Ryan.
Executive VP here at Voice America. Biggest supporter.
He
Huge
is.
shout out to Ryan Treasure.
Ryan.
Thank you so much for everything you do for us.
Yes.
Paige said, hello, ladies. You're such an inspiration. I want to make sure I get to all
Thank
these.
You, Paige.
And thank you for everyone. Carla just joined us. Hi, Carla.
Hi, Carla. How are you? You came back just in time. Hi, neighbor Carla.
So nice to see the connection and love that you get from your friends and family and people that surround you, that believe in you, that are your strength. Jeanie, just like you mentioned, they become your everything as you're going through this, because I am open and vulnerable to this process as Lead Up for Women has been growing, and everything's uncertain. And we just keep just pushing forward.
And if you fail, you pick yourself back up, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And we learn.
Right. So sorry to interrupt, but we're coming back in 10.
We're back.
Yeah.
I'm
you never
excited.
have to apologize for interrupting us, Monk. He's the best.
He's just so, he can't help himself. He's just so good.
So sweet.
He is. See?
Yeah. Hey, Carla.
Awesome. Carla, how are you, Carla? That's neighbor Carla.
Yeah.
You're listening to Lead Up for Women.
She's one of the reasons why we bought our house where we did. Her and her husband, Alan, and my neighbors, Rose and Michael.
You guys are making me move over there. Then we're all in your neighborhood.
I'm looking over there.
Jeanie, please come join us.
You may also send an email to info@leadupforwomen.com.
We'll take over the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now, back to this week's show.
Yes. Welcome back, listeners. Oh my gosh, it has been just an amazing show today.
Yes.
If you joined us late, you're going to have to go back and listen to this on demand at any time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Just look up Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I am back as your host, Colleen Biggs.
And I am Dee Daniels. I'm your co-host, and we're just having an amazing time. We were talking before the break with Afsaneh, and she was talking a little bit about what her life has been like in the interim of her being in Iran and coming here to the States. And I was asking her specifically about, some of the things like what it was like being under missile attack as a young woman and still trying to have some positive thoughts and looking forward to the future. And she beautifully answered that question. So I think segueing into that, you know, a little bit more, when you came to the States, obviously, you know, you come because your journey is a part of where you actually end up. That's still a whole journey that you've taken. Yeah. So coming here, and I know you were thinking about what you wanted to do. How did your past and all those things that you endured, being a female living in these Islamic countries, obviously is a lot different. So how did that part of your life impact who you are and what you do when you come here to the States?
It definitely made a very, very big impact. Like I said, the spirit of curiosity and that yearning for freedom makes you appreciate, I believe, everything, every little blessing that you are given later in life. So when I came here, I came in a male-dominant industry. I came to a construction industry and knowing nothing. And but because, like I said, because this was completely different from what I had, every breath became full of gratitude, every breath. And that truly fired me up, showed that I worked with passion. Like I worked with a passion uncomparable to any. And meanwhile, I became a single mom. Just 2 years after I was in the U.S., I became a single mom. So now I had to establish myself not only in the industry, but establish myself as a mother in a country where I don't know nothing. I don't know how schools work. I don't know nothing.
Yeah, you're like a fish out of water for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, all the hardship made me 10 times more present and made me appreciate every bit of it 100 times more. And that, I think, has always been a good propel for me to move me forward.
That's great. So I know that you do, you help organizations and individuals. We talked a little bit about this on the phone when you and I were connecting to get to know each other. And you talked about developing a deep understanding of the Enneagram. And I probably didn't say that correctly. If you will explain a little bit to our listeners and our Facebook friends that are with us today, a little bit about what that testing is and how you utilize that to help people live their life every day with gratitude, become how they respond to life and the way they do, and really help people hone in on what makes them so unique.
Sure, absolutely. And you pronounced it right, Colleen. Don't beat yourself up. You did great.
Yeah. I got my win for today.
Yeah, Enneagram is a very, very ancient tool, and just like I said, we do integral coaching or holistic coaching. As a holistic coach, I have many, many tools in my toolbox. So I study, because we work from the body, we work from the mind, from the heart, we work with cognitive abilities, we work with the emotional body. So Enneagram is one of the tools that I use, and on the personality, it describes your personality type. But the difference between Enneagram and other personality types is that Enneagram shows you, there are 9 types on the Enneagram, and Enneagram tells you, okay, this is your dominant type that you were born with, and based on this dominant type, you have certain gifts, and you have certain shadows or certain blockages, certain things that you do as a pattern in life. You respond to in life like a pattern, and but there's no disappointment here, because guess what? Every Enneagram type has a path of growth, and that's the beauty of it. That Enneagram shows you, yes, based on this, based on your personality, this is your path of growth. These are the things you need to focus on if you want to get rid of the patterns that don't work for you and they're holding you back in life. So we work on those patterns, and you little by little you look back and say, "Gosh, is that how I really responded to life?" And let me give you a very quick example. And feel free to cut me off if because I can go on forever.
No. I will let you know when we're going to be wrapping up and giving out your contact information to everyone. So you keep going. You're doing awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. So, for instance, not to give away myself too much, but I am a type 7 on the Enneagram, and I'm the enthusiast, right? The enthusiast is the creative type. We're energetic. We're the life of the party. We are we foresee things. But it's great. They're all wonderful, wonderful gifts that can help me. Like I have an artistic side about me. I create gardens and everything. But on the downside, the syndrome for the type 7 is we go after shiny objects because we're so enthusiastic that we go after shiny objects. And what happens is that means our shadow, my shadow,
shiny object.
Not focus.
Yeah.
Focus is hard for me.
Yes.
So, like for my type. So now that I know my type, I know my shadow, I know what protocols I have to implement in my life so that I overcome this shadow.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I'm a type 7. I need to take that test. I know.
You've been promising it for months.
Yeah.
Now I have to get on your.
I have to give a little tiny teaser out to everyone attending the May 22nd luncheon in Atlanta, Georgia. That there's going to be a very special gift that Afsaneh is going to be emailing all of the registrants. So the quicker that you get registered, the quicker that you're going to be able to be in the running to be able to receive a free gift from her. And you're going to want this. The value of it is just incredible. So if you can get registered as quick as possible at leadupforwomen.com/events, you'll see our May 22nd event out there. I suggest you jump out there and get registered as quick as possible because the value of what she's going to be offering and what she's giving is incredible. As you can tell, she's already an amazing
she's amazing.
woman.
And I'm sure, and people are going to find so much value in that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
that's what I love Enneagram.
Well, see, that's awesome, though. I think that obviously that's something that's helpful because anytime you can kind of test yourself and kind of know your strengths and know your weaknesses and how to work with, them, it's only going to impact you and make you better at what you do.
Absolutely. And the one thing that I love using Enneagram is, and I think it truly, truly can make a difference, is in relationships and in communication.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Communication.
It truly does. It truly creates miracles in relationships.
Okay,
I met when I was at the Entree Leadership Summit. I met Marcus Buckingham. Got to spend a little time with him. Posted a little photo up on our Facebook feed for all of those that want to go see him. He's just such an intelligent, smart, compassionate man. And one thing that he mentioned, Strength Finder 2.0 was one of the books that he wrote, and I took that test. And what I love about all these different testings is that one shares your strengths and how you capitalize on what you do really, really well and drive those forward. Because, in business, these are your weaknesses. These are your strengths. Let's work on your opportunities. Hear what we keep. So we focus. We do this in the school system too. We focus on everything they're not doing right. And we forget about focusing on the things that we're doing right. And I love what you said about it creates a path of growth so you can rid the patterns that hold you back. So you're about helping people grow and really tap into, again, exactly who they need to be, like you did when you set your own rules. You believe in that for everybody and how you can blaze that path.
Yep, exactly.
I love that. Well, Afsaneh, we are excited to see you on May 22nd, and I would love to let the listeners know how they can get in touch with you. So if you want to give everyone your website address. Sure.
Website is cornerstonestrategies.net. So one word, cornerstonestrategies.net is my website. And I'll give you my personal email for this. Anybody feel free to send me a personal email at Abree, that's AABREE, at iCloud.com.
And if anyone wants to get in touch with Jeanie Davis that we had today or Afsaneh Abree, you can always get in contact with us at info at leadupforwomen.com. If you also go to the Voice America channel, the Empowerment channel, and look up Lead Up for Women, their bios, their links, their photos are there, and all of their contact information and all their social media handles are out there. So that's another great way. You can message us on Facebook. You name it. You can go on to our website, leadupforwomen.com, and you can also get in contact with us that way too.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I want to thank both of you for joining us today. You made today a very impactful show.
You did, ladies.
And I can't thank you enough for Jeanie for sharing that success to you is happiness, and we all need to remember that happiness is really in the journey and the little things.
Right.
And I want to thank you so much because that really hit home with me today and gave me what I needed.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for that.
Right.
And
sharing the
Afsaneh,
book.
your stories, girl, I think we may be sisters somewhere along the way, and we just don't know. Because I have said I live against the grain and go against the grain and can't stand status quo, and I'm always looking for change. So I love that you're helping women and men and everybody out there grow and learn, and we can't wait to see you in Atlanta.
Yes.
So thanks
I cannot
for
wait to
joining
see you
us
all.
today. It's been wonderful. Well, we want to go ahead and wrap up the show a little bit with what we have coming up here. Like we talked about, our May 22nd luncheon. Hurry up and grab your tickets for that. And then following that, we're going to be in Philadelphia on June 13th. In Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse, this beautiful place that we get to host our luncheon. I'm so excited for that.
Philadelphia, wow.
And in addition to that, we're going to have June Klein is going to be joining us. She's a best-selling author and humorist, and she's going to be joining us as well for that luncheon. And next week, we're going to be speaking with Diane. She goes by the name V. Diane Cabaldi. She's a TEDx speaker, founder, and inspiration for Paleo Boss Lady Incorporated. She says she's a miracle and a badass.
Well, we're going to see, because
Yeah.
she's going to get here and have the opportunity to prove that to us.
And then we also have Lorraine Tallman that's going to be in the studio next week on Wednesday. So don't forget to tune in next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Voice America channel. And do you want to go ahead and close this out?
I do, but I want to close this out because I really think this is a very important show, especially with Afsaneh and our guests here. So what I'd like to do is just, Afsaneh, for you, thinking of that little girl that was there, because I have to go back to that because it's a part of your story, sitting there with the bombs. What would you tell that little girl today? What would you say to her? Just one sentence.
That's a tough question, Dee. You get me on that one.
If you could wrap it up in 10 seconds, that would be great.
Yeah, I have actually done a lot of work on that. I think I tell her, trust me.
Okay.
I love that. Trust her.
Trust me.
All right, you guys, thanks for joining us today. And please go to our Facebook page and leave some notes out there, and we can answer some more questions. And tell us how you thought about the show today.
Absolutely.
And how Jeanie and how Afsaneh impacted you, and one thing you want to tap in to your passion to lead forward. So thank you for being with us today, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're all clear.
Sorry, Monk, we went over.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hey, Facebook friends.
it's all right.
I get it.
If the show behind you was live, I would have had to cut you,
Yeah,
but we're
we
good.
don't have,
yeah,
there's no
we
live
made it,
show,
you
and
guys.
I knew that already. So.
All right, so I just want to say hi out there really quick before we
Hi, you
say
guys.
goodbye to our Facebook friends.
Yes.
Trisha Mayer, thank you for joining us. Nicole, thank you for being
Trisha,
here
Nicole,
today.
hi.
We went ahead and posted cornerstonestrategies.net. We posted Jeannie's.
Yes, I saw that. Thank you.
Jeannie's
Good,
email
good.
address. We'll continue to post some more additional information. Megan, hi. Thank you for joining us
Hi,
today.
Megan.
So we are so happy to have all of our Facebook friends join us. All of you, please feel free to leave comments, leave messages.
Please do.
We want this to be a conversation, and it never has to stop in the studio.
Never. We can keep
So-
going on and on and on.
Yeah. So we are so thankful you are here. And
Yes.
Robert, if you want to end our show for today,
Goodbye,
that would be great.
Facebook.
Goodbye, Facebook friends.